um, 10? I don't really know. Actually, I have raced against 12 in a race before. I think that's the highest I'm allowed to race, so that's the highest I have raced.
That's awesome. So do you have any aspiring drivers you look up to? Like, who's somebody that's in the racing world that you look up to?
Haley Deegan.
Yeah,
Haley,
she's
yeah, Haley Deegan is like she's my idol in racing. I watch her videos every night with my dad on YouTube.
yeah, she's a very good one to idolize. Like a
Yeah.
lot of girls idolize Haley Deegan.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter idolizes Haley too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to back up just for a second here because for some reason when I hit the live, it didn't go live right away. And so I'm going to just kind of go back and say our guest tonight is Tatum Kriegel. She's 9 years old. She's from Lincoln, California. And if you are just joining us, I apologize. For some reason, I either didn't click it hard enough or the internet, I'm not sure. But anyway, so I wanted to catch our listeners up on who you are, Tatum, and Mom's in the background, so she may answer some questions too. But Tatum has had a lot of wins since she started when she was 6 years old. And so we wanted to have her on to share about what she's been doing. And so go ahead, Brent. You probably have some other questions like how fast does she go and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and just to catch up the listeners, that didn't get to hear, she's only raced for 3 years, and we asked before the show how many wins that she had, and they weren't 100% sure because they have so many wins because she races. Her mom was saying like last year they raced 30 events and they raced 2 different classes in them 30 events, and then this year they raced 20 events with 3 different classes. So, and as you can see behind her, she's got a lot of trophies just in the picture right there. So she's a pretty accomplished young lady so far, and we've been talking about her what she races. She races a quarter midget. Her favorite color is blue and pink. There you can kind of see her car behind her, and she prefers asphalt, so that should catch everybody.
Yeah,
talked about before the live got pushed, and
right.
So we was talking about Haley Deegan, and Haley Deegan races a lot of fast stuff. Do you think you go as fast as Haley Deegan?
No.
How fast do you think you go?
3 or 5 miles per hour? No, sorry.
35.
35 miles per hour.
Okay.
Right around there.
That's pretty fast in a quarter midget.
Yes, it is. I didn't know I raced that fast.
How does that feel when you're going around the track at 35 or 40 miles an hour?
Well, I did not know that I went around the track. Oh, and I sometimes go 40 plus. I go 40 plus.
That's on a really good day when your car's doing really well and you're going 40 plus. That's one of those days when you get one of those trophies that's behind you.
Yeah.
So, what do the boys?
On the light 160 though.
Okay.
What do the boys think when you beat them?
I don't know. I've never really asked them that question.
They don't act like they get mad at you?
Sometimes.
Yeah. I would guess that the boys have their noses out of joint, especially if she's racing against the same ones quite a bit and she's winning a lot. They're probably, some of them are probably a little bit, maybe even intimidated by her a little bit. And then, I'm sure that it's frustrating, but once you put that helmet on, we forget that you're a girl, right?
Yeah, but we're all friends in racing, so.
That's good.
Yeah, always have that attitude.
Yeah. So if you race in 3 different classes, do you have 3 different cars?
Yes, but I am getting 5.
You're getting 2 more.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you tell us
We have
what
them.
kind of quarter midgets do you have? Because I know they have different classes. So what classes do you race in?
Junior Honda, Junior Animal, Junior 160, Light 160. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Are you ever going to get a break when you're at the track?
What?
Are you ever going to get a break when you're at the racetrack?
No, not really. I asked if I can go play with my friends sometimes, but my parents are like, "You gotta race."
Yeah, you're jumping from
Go
one
in
car to the
car,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
you're
you
jumping
probably
from one car to the other.
but I want to do it.
yeah. You probably jump out of one car and into the next one at times, don't
Yeah,
you? Race back to
what I
back.
mean. That's what I mean. I like
Yeah.
go, okay, there's one race in between me, gotta get in my car.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by like I can't really play. I gotta get in the car.
Well,
That's
there's other times for play. And when you're at the racetrack, it sounds like it's pretty serious, you know. You want to do it. And if you weren't that serious about it, you wouldn't have 3 cars or 4 cars and now 5 cars. So I feel like you take it fairly serious and that you know it's yeah, for sure. And
So do
so
you
is there a track that you always race at?
No, not really, because I kind of go all over the country. So there's no track that I like race the most at, but there's my home track, American,
Okay.
my favorite track.
Go ahead, Brett.
What's the furthest you've ever raced? What's the furthest track?
Daytona.
Daytona.
Wow. Yeah. That's
So-
pretty amazing.
I lost my train of thought. Go ahead, Melinda.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite thing about driving a race car, driving a quarter midget?
Well, my favorite thing is in the race cars, I can go fast and pass, but my favorite thing at the racetrack, like while I'm there, is it's something I can spend time with my family, especially my dad, see some of my racing friends that I don't get to see all the time. But it's just a fun thing to do.
Right. So if you travel a lot across the country, are you homeschooled or how do you manage school? Because right now you'd be in school. How do you manage school and go into these long races that are far away?
Well, I still go to school, but I take the homework that I need from school. I like take it out of my binders. And I take it in the motorhome with me and I try to work on it in there.
Okay. All right. So that's good. So is your season over yet or are you still racing?
I'm still racing.
And how much longer will you be racing this year?
Well, I still have 2 more races.
Okay. And are they a long way away or are they in California?
Well, I have 2 club races.
Okay.
One and then one in Tucson and one in Las Vegas.
Okay. So they're not too far away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a long ways from.
Yeah. It'd be a long ways to come and watch her, Brett.
Yeah.
Although I'm in Phoenix, so if you were in Tucson, that wouldn't have been too awfully far, but I'm headed home next week. But yeah, because they get to race a lot longer out here than you guys do in Iowa because of the weather. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, our last race that we can go to is November. I think right around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I'm
That
gonna
seems late. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be racing on Thanksgiving Day.
Okay. Yeah. And your crew, let's talk about who helps you with your cars. I know it's your dad for sure. Do you have other people that go to the races with you or that help with the cars when they're in the garage when they need work?
My mom helps. And some of my family just goes to the racetrack, watches, and my friends do too.
Okay. So now your little sister Tegan, does she race?
No, but she will very soon.
How old is she?
She is 3 years old.
Oh, well, she's a little bit young to get started, isn't she? But not much longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3
I
more
think
years. So
I think you have to be 5.
We already have her
5.
car ordered and stuff too.
Yeah. So she goes to the races. Does she like going and watching you race, or at 3 she probably doesn't really care?
Sometimes she doesn't really care. She normally just goes and plays with her friends at the racetrack. She has
Yeah.
like a little group. She has like lots of girls at each racetrack that she goes to.
Okay. Well, that's good. That makes it easier for your mom then if she has friends too that she can see while you're racing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what does your mom do to help you, when you go to your racing?
She helps me get my shoulders on, my gloves on. She helps me get ready for the race, my suit on. And she records my races.
Okay.
But also she motivates me to race.
So, what does she do to motivate you?
She says, Tatum, it doesn't matter where you finish as long as you try your best. And me and your dad will always be proud of you. And sometimes she also plays a song for me.
Okay. What song is it?
Imagine Dragon, Natural, some of the zombie songs, Descendants. She just plays all the songs pretty much that are like for kids, kind of.
Okay. All right. Cool. Brett?
Do you have a favorite food that you eat on the race day?
On the race day, nachos.
What's your favorite food on the non-race day?
My mom's pasta. I've always called it mommy's pasta ever since I tried it, which we forgot the real name of it.
Oh.
So what
That's
do you
fun.
do when you're not at the race? What do you do when you're not racing? What's your fun stuff you do?
I either go in the backyard. I made like a little fake track, goes around the pole next to the racetrack, by the pole, around the fire pit, and back all the way around. I either ride on my Rip Rider and do that, have a play date, have a sleepover, or sometimes watch TV.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you got to get your mind off of racing just to keep a clear thought because you don't want to burn yourself out on racing thinking about it all the time.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Because sometimes it gets so much racing that you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't breathe.
love racing.
Yeah. So what, I know you're only 9 years old, but if you could look down, 10 years from now when you're 19, 20 years old, where would you like to be racing? What would you like to be doing?
Well, I would like to be racing against Haley Deegan, so I guess NASCAR.
Okay. That's a good goal. That's a good goal. And that's about the age that you would be probably in NASCAR, either in the trucks or the Xfinity at 19, 18, 19 years old. Yeah, for sure. So do you go to NASCAR races? Do you go to any of the NASCAR races in California or anywhere?
Sometimes. There's not a lot of big NASCAR races out here.
No.
But when we're at tracks and there's like a NASCAR race or a cool car race, then we sometimes go out to there. And sometimes I need to leave my parents because I hear all the other kids at the racetrack.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So I always come to Phoenix because two of my daughters live here. So I always come to Phoenix in November for the championship race and in March for their March race. And so, that's kind of how I do it. And sometimes I go to Michigan and I've been to some other tracks, but Phoenix is kind of the place that I always make sure I have tickets for so that I can visit my daughters and go to the NASCAR race.
Melinda
Yeah,
probably lives like an hour from the NASCAR track in Michigan or close to it, don't you?
Oh, yeah, probably maybe an hour and a half at the most, just because a lot of it's 2-lane road and, and that. So yeah, and
Yeah.
when I was last winter when I was in the RV park, I was only about 30 minutes from the Phoenix track. And then if I stay at my daughter's, it's about 45 minutes from the other direction. So it's not far. Yeah, it's
It's
not far. And it's
it's funny.
always, go
It's
ahead.
funny because Melinda to Phoenix to the race for NASCAR, and passes her home track for NASCAR, and I leave Iowa, and I've been to Michigan about 7 times to watch the NASCAR.
You've been to Michigan more than I have. I think I've been to Michigan 4 times, and 2 of those times it rained. And so, yeah, a little frustrating, but it is close. And they had a really good race at Michigan this year. So I need to go back to Michigan. So, Tatum, if you could give some advice to a little girl who says, is racing a good sport to be involved in? What would you tell her?
I'd say yes. It's definitely a fun sport. Um, and I wish more girls and not just you would do it. Be, like, I'm glad you're doing it, but I also wish more girls would do it. Because it's kind of sad that some girls think that, oh no, racing's a boy thing, but it's not. Racing's a girl thing, a boy thing. Racing's for everybody, and it's kind of happy to see when girls start racing.
Yeah.
Oh, girls are starting to race again because I knew just a little bit of girls when I started racing that were racing. So,
Yeah.
I
So
was
my
really
granddaughters are 19 and 17, and they started in quarter midgets when they
Oh,
were like 6 and 8. And so then they moved up eventually to like a late model car or a street stock car. And so that's kind of the progression that you'll probably do is, move up to a front wheel drive, a street stock, a late model to get yourself to NASCAR. So are your parents ready for that?
no. We have
No.
so much going on that it's like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah. So you'll be in quarter midgets probably another at least 3 years, I would guess, right? Till you're 12 or 13, 14, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've
Most
got
people
a little time.
there like quit quarter midgets around there, but you can go up to 17. So,
Okay. Sometimes you're just too tall or whatever to fit. So,
Yeah, we have a lot of girls around here in Iowa that race. Like every track we go to, there's at least 20 girls that race. In the dirt, we race dirt, and I think the last 2 years at English Creek, we've had like 40 or 50 girls out of 200 that race. So
mhm.
I mean, the girls are starting. The girls are starting to get even with the boys in the racing
Yeah.
world. We just got to keep pushing, keep advertising that girls can race, and
Right.
that girls are better than the guys most times.
Or they can be just as good, if not better, right? They're
yeah.
not, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I think I love about racing. One of the things, and especially for girls, is that you can be just as competitive with the boy. I understand, I know there's girls that play football, but I also understand that the
Yeah.
way boys are built and they're usually bigger and stronger, that maybe football is more of a guy's sport. Whereas,
Yeah.
basketball is kind of even in that, but
Yeah.
racing is to me, maybe other than golf, racing is the most even sport for boys and girls, men and women to compete against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I
So
even go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I watched a show. It's called Bella and the Bulldogs, and she was the only girl playing football in the team.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I can understand that. But the racing, you have
Yeah.
just as much talent and, everything as anybody else on the track. So that makes it a level playing field for sure. Yeah.
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 We like to say making boys cry.
Yeah. Brett's got a hashtag. It's hashtag making boys cry. He'll have to tag you on it so you can start using that. Yeah.
Trying to
So
make it trying to make that hashtag become something.
Right. Absolutely. So what was the hardest thing that you had to learn when it came to driving a car?
Probably to keep my foot in it, because sometimes my foot would slip and go onto the brake, or I would kind of lean back off the throttle, and I'm like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. And my dad's like, yeah, you did. I can feel it. Ow.
Yeah. Dads seem to know those things, don't they? And he
Yeah.
never raced. So did he have a lot to learn about like your cars and how to fix them? Or is he pretty mechanical?
Well, he works in a heating air company, but he's pretty mechanical. But he did have a lot to learn.
Okay. All right. Sounds
Yeah, he's
good. So
got a lot on his plate if it's just your dad working on 5 cards.
yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anybody that helps him.
Well, my mom does,
Yeah.
and Nick and Eileen from Little Speed Shop.
Okay. So he does have a little bit of help. That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
but yeah, like when we go to the nationals and stuff.
Okay.
You
So
have to
what
push.
do your classmates think about you being a race car driver?
Well, some of them didn't actually believe I was a race car driver until my teacher came out to the racetrack, took some videos and pictures of me, and they're like, I did not think you actually raced. And I'm like,
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I showed you.
There you go. Go ahead. Do you have Brett? Go ahead.
Yeah. So, does your car have a way to start it, or does your dad have to push you to get you going?
My dad has to push me to get me going.
Yeah, I know a lot of that. Go ahead.
Sorry. My dad in the junior animal, I can't hear him because it's so loud. And I have to hit it a certain time. He has to, when he knocks on my helmet, then that means flip the switch and go.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't push them with a 4-wheeler, Melinda. They push them by hand.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what my son-in-law used to do too. And sometimes that was the most interesting part of the race is watching those old dads race pushing those carts around the track. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, for sure. So do you have any marketing partners that like help you, pay for tires or anything for your car, or it's just your parents?
Emissions X. He helps. They help a lot.
Okay. Okay.
And so does my mom and dad.
Okay. All right. And we already talked about your car's blue and pink and that you've had a lot of wins. I'm just kind of looking over some of my questions. Do you ever have a bad day at the racetrack? And if you do, what do you do?
Sometimes I do have a bad day, but my mom says, Tatum, just move past it. It's gonna be okay. It'll be better next time.
Okay. And
Like
so
I
is
Nah.
that hard for you to do? Or you're like, yeah, you're right. We got another race next weekend. I'll do better.
Well, I've kind of had to learn to be okay with it. Because sometimes I'm like, man, but well, I just really just try my best, and that's all that matters, like my mom always says.
Yeah.
As long as I try my best and have fun, then I have fun,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
move right on past it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, there no reason to be racing if you're not having fun, because you're not doing it for the big money right now. So you might as well have fun while you can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. Do you have any other questions for her, Brett?
Not that I can think of. I mean, she's a pretty
Okay.
well-spoken lady. So
Yeah. Well, I have a couple more if you're not tired of talking to us. So, have you ever had, I ask you, what you would say to another little girl, but have you ever had anybody come up to you and your mom and ask you about being involved in racing? So can you tell me about that just a little bit? Or your
Well,
mom?
well, One time there was these people at the racetrack. They were a novice and I was in junior. And my dad said, "Why don't you go over and give them some tips?" And I'm like, "Okay." So I went over and gave them some tips, and now they race against me.
Okay. Well, that's good though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
And
there's nothing wrong. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with helping the competitors out. You know, we tell our secrets all the time to people we race against that are struggling, and because we want to, if we want to win fairly, we want to win knowing that we had a good chance of getting beat. We want to know that we beat them fair and square.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. That's
yeah,
that's a great way to put it.
yeah, absolutely. So, what's something that you would like to improve on about your driving?
I would like to improve on not getting so close to them on their bumper and then turning down. And also in the bigger classes, I cannot hold back a single second because I was in the Light 160 race and it caused me to flip.
Oh
I was
dear.
coming out of the turn. I'm like, oh, it's the last lap in the straightaway. Oh, it's the last lap. Better go. And he was like getting ready to go into the turn that we got so close. We went straight up into the wall. He wrecked just going into the wall, and I flipped on my head, but it was like a slow flip, so nothing was really
And you
hurt.
were okay? You didn't get hurt?
Yeah, and we said sorry to them afterwards because it's a new big class for me. And in the other classes, you can hold up a little bit, like in the smaller classes, but in the big classes, you cannot do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
Well, that was good that you went and told him you were sorry because, that makes things better the next time you have to race against each other. Yeah.
You earn
yeah,
respect. Earning respect at the racetrack is the key to being successful.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah,
making sure you're friends with them.
Yep.
for sure. So do you have any lucky charms or any traditional things that you do every time before a race? Do you always say the same thing or you have something that's in your car that's special to you? Anything like that?
No, not really. Just what my mom says to me before every race.
Okay. And do you have any kind of a racing nickname?
Yes, I do.
What is
Uh,
it?
it's not that much of a racing nickname, but the girl Tatum Kriegel.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
the girl Kriegel.
Yeah.
But they started calling me that because there's another little boy named Tatum. He's 6 years
Oh.
um, and his name is Tatum Talcott, and we spell it the exact same way. So they say Tatum, the boy Talcott, and they call me Tatum, the girl Kriegel.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I understand why they did that for sure.
It's kind
Yeah.
of like a nickname.
It is kind of like a nickname. So, what is your favorite thing to celebrate? Is it a holiday, your birthday? What's your favorite one?
My birthday,
Your birthday. Okay, and when is your birthday?
July 16th. And one
Oh,
of my favorite things at my birthday is we have a pool in the backyard, but then we open the gate to that's like kind of in the front in the backyard, like splitting those two. We open the gate and we put a big old water slide going right down
oh,
um, the thing, and one time it was as tall as our house, and our house is a 2-story. So
wow. That sounds like a lot of fun. So, my
yeah,
granddaughter just went to a birthday party. She's 8, and they had a foam party. So, they sprayed something with foam and then they slide into the pool. So, you'll have to check that out because I guess that's really, really the cool thing out here. So, anyway,
yeah. There's
yeah.
something. I went to my friend's birthday, and they had like this bubble machine or something, and they put it all down like the slip and slide, and they put a pool at the end, kind of,
Mhm.
and they filled it with slime.
Oh my gosh. That
And when
sounds
I
like Nickelodeon.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's very cool.
It was a
Very
gross
cool.
feeling, though.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you just some really quick questions, and you've answered a couple of these already, but I'm going to just ask you again. These are things that are your favorites. So
Okay.
here we go. What is your favorite food?
Mommy's pasta. I've
What's
been
your
calling
favorite place to go on vacation?
Maui.
What's your favorite candy?
Reese's Pieces.
Do you have a favorite movie?
The Cinderella. It's not the Cinderella movie, but something else called the Cinderella movie.
Okay. How about a favorite song? Do you have a favorite song?
Yes, I do. And it's my new favorite, and it's called Lost Boy.
Okay. And we know your favorite race car driver is Haley Deegan. You already
Yeah.
told us that. And your favorite color is blue.
Yes.
What's your favorite number?
13.
Oh, that's usually an unlucky number. So I'm glad to hear that. You're going to be lucky 13, aren't you? Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite place that you have raced? A favorite racetrack?
American Quarter Midget Association.
Okay. And do you have a favorite book or series of books that you like?
I just started reading these, and it's called Kitty Kazoo.
Okay, sounds good. How about a favorite sports team? Do you follow any other sport besides racing?
No, not really.
No, not really. Okay. And favorite holiday other than your birthday?
Oh, probably Christmas, because that's the time we get together with our family.
Okay.
Got to do some crazy things.
Okay. And California is a fun place for
Yeah.
Christmas because it's warm out. You can be outside and all those kind of things.
Yeah, sometimes it is cold out, but
Yeah. So I'm going to post a comment that we got. Do you know Justin Nelson?
yes.
Okay. Justin said, great interview. Can't wait to see her grow in the sport and how far she will go. Future is bright. So that's a nice comment. Thank you, Justin, for watching and for putting that comment out there. We love to show the comments and read the comments, and so people can, talk about Tatum and what she's doing. And so that was great. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So Tatum, I don't have any other questions. Is there anything that Brett and I haven't asked you about that maybe you want to share with us?
No, not really.
Okay.
But I would like to give some special links out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna go by racing companies, and then I'm gonna go by some businesses we know.
Awesome. Go right ahead.
So Little Speed Shop, Nick and Kylene, Sherman Race Cars, CSI, Baker Racing Engines, Hawks Exhaust, Radical Race Gear. We love these local businesses and cheer me on. Rail Cook Heating and Air, Emissions X, Full Nelson Embroidery, and where I sing at Rockstar Academy.
Okay, so you didn't tell us that you were a singer.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you guys that.
All right, well, tell us about that.
Well, there's this place kind of in Lincoln, like closer in the area of Lincoln. And it's a really great place if you live anywhere near Sacramento or near Lincoln or in Sacramento. But I just sing there, and it's a lot of fun too.
So do you put on plays, or what do you do with your singing?
Well, I'm still learning, but I am learning the song "Lost Boy."
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's kind of a Melinda. I believe that the Rockstar Academy, we have one close to here too, and it is a training for people that want to become in the singing industry.
Okay.
So we have a good
instruments.
Yeah, we have a good girl band here that's from the Quad Cities, and they're called Been There, Done That. They're 100% rock and roll, and they're all girls, and they're pretty awesome. So check them out. It's called Been There, Done That.
Okay. All right. So everybody check out Been There, Done That. And they're going to be like, why are all these racing people following us? So that's awesome. Well, I love music. I love all types of music, except what's the one kind of music that you think I don't like? Any guesses?
Country.
Rap.
Rap. You're right. Here's what I call it. I call it rap crap. When my kids used to put it on the radio, I'd say, turn off that rap crap. But that's not. It's because I'm old, Tatum. I don't care for that kind of music. But country's my favorite, Christian music, and those are my favorites. And then so anyway,
I like to sing too,
Wanted to
Tatum.
give a
what do you
big-
like, Brett?
I like to sing too.
Yeah, Brett does like to sing. Yeah. You guys all have to get together sometime and sing. How's that be? That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Well,
I
Tatum,
want-
I don't have any other questions for you, but we always tell our guests at the end of the show, and I let Brett do that. So, Brett, go ahead and close our interview out with Tatum.
So Tatum, in the racing world, when you meet somebody, it feels like you basically met. That person basically becomes somebody that feels like family. It's more of a family deal than a friendship deal. So when we meet people, we follow you, we watch. I've been watching all your posts, and I feel like I know you more as a family member than I do a friend. So, what we like to from the Women's Motorsport Network is welcome to our family. You're becoming part of one great big family of almost 10,000 people. That's our family. So, welcome to our family.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, real quick, Kenny Davenport Draper, you probably know who that is, and he said
That's
she's
my
a
papa.
cheerleader. That's your grandpa? Okay. He said,
cheer
don't
like
forget, she's a cheerleader too.
Yeah, I just cheer for my school. I don't do
Okay.
some things.
Yeah. A
But I
lot of girls that race are cheerleaders. I just saw two of my girls that we've interviewed that just got their cheerleading uniforms and they were posting pictures. So a lot of girls that race kind of like cheerleading too. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I was a
Adrian?
cheerleading coach for 10 years. So I like cheerleading too.
My daughter is 16, and she just tried out for the wrestling cheerleading here. This is her first time ever, never even looked at cheerleading, and she made the alternative squad, which they're really impressed with her for never having a coach,
Yeah.
So, but now Adriana's a cheerleader too.
Awesome. Awesome. So we love cheerleaders too. Awesome. Well, Tatum, thank you for being on. Tell your mom thanks for helping and holding the camera and everything. We're going to stay in touch. Yeah, we're going to stay in touch. Now, you were already in the magazine, right?
Yes, I was in the magazine, but not in your magazine.
Okay. So you were, but I think didn't you fill out a questionnaire for my magazine though? I thought so. No?
Maybe.
Okay. If not, we're going to have you in the magazine. So we'll get you featured in there as well, because we like to share your stories, and everybody can't always listen to the podcast that we do, the live show. So the magazine, then, that is a good way for you to get your name out, and then you're able to share that with your sponsors and everybody. So we'll get you featured in there if you haven't been already, and then we'll keep track of you, and you tag us when you put things on social media. It's Tatum Kriegel Racing, right? Is that what's on Facebook?
Kriegel Racing.
Okay, so when you post things about yourself, make sure you tag Women's Motorsports Network so that Brett and I can follow you easier by doing that, because we get a lot of posts that come through, and we want to make sure that we stay in touch with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Plus,
Okay.
if you tag us, you're automatically tagging 10,000 people that are in the group.
Right. So there you go, because we want people to know who Tatum Kriegel is. How's that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Tatum, thank you. Have a good week. Good luck at your races, and we'll be following along. Okay.
Yeah, we look forward to watching your journey.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Oh gosh, she's so cute, isn't she? That blonde hair. And
She was her mom was worried about her talking.
I know, and she said she had been practicing with her mom, but even at that, yeah, she did really well, and you would have never thought that she would have been nervous or anything. She did a great job. So I'm happy we got a chance to talk to her, and I'm pretty sure, in fact, I can't look up my magazine right at the moment, but she might even be in the issue that's coming out. I swear that I've written a story about her. But you know what, Brett? I just made a list in Excel of all the women that I've written stories about since November 2017, and there's been 440 stories. And I've written all of those except maybe about a dozen. Somebody else has written those, which when I think about it, it just kind of overwhelms me a little bit that I've had that many stories in the magazine. This is our 20th live show, and I've done about 165 Let's Racing Girls Rock podcasts. So the numbers are getting up there. It's kind of fun to watch those numbers grow. And I really had no idea that I had done over 400 stories in the magazine. So if I get a little confused about who I've interviewed and written stories about and who I haven't, you can understand because they all kind of merged together after a while. So anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
kind of the secretary, the whole deal.
yeah, absolutely. So we usually try to call out some gals at this part of the show. So of course, the first one, Taylor Cool. We love Taylor. She's just at the top of our list of race car driver girls that we love. So yesterday, Valkyrie Racing made an announcement, said the driver of our second Tag 125 for our October testing race in Texas is none other than Taylor Cool Racing. The last time she was on a pavement circuit track was March of 2020. Ever since then, she has been killing it on the dirt tracks around the nation. With the amazing and consistent season she has had in both the sport mod and stock car, we came to the conclusion she was the right choice to travel with us to Texas and reintroduce her to the world of circuit track racing. So I am so excited for Taylor. That's just awesome. We love that girl, and I know she's going to do great.
Yeah, and on top of all that, she just became a licensed realtor. So she's been doing schooling, racing she races full time basically.
Works.
And
She works
so
a job.
yeah, and so congratulations to Taylor on all of her
Wow.
accomplishments because that she's living a very busy life right now with all she does, and it's just
Yeah.
she is the whole ultimate package for sure.
Yeah, she really is. And, I didn't know she was going for her real estate license, but I can tell you that's not an easy test.
No.
And there's a lot of studying, and there's real estate classes you have to go to. I know people, my best friend's a realtor, but wow. So that's a huge accomplishment, and so proud of Taylor. We follow her, all the time, but she's just awesome. So another name that's fairly well known, I would say, in the racing world is Jennifer Jo Cobb. And we haven't seen a lot of her this year. She took a year off from racing, but she just announced yesterday, she says, I'm thrilled to announce that we will be bringing the beloved Fastener Supply Company Super Speedway truck, Connie Lou, she names her car, Connie Lou, back to Talladega on October 1st. It's been a year of healing and resetting while taking a break from full-time racing. I've started a new position with Fastener Supply Company, who you may know as my primary sponsor as an account executive. It has been rewarding to help create new business and form relationships with this great company and our customers. And then there's more. So if you follow her on Facebook, just go to Jennifer Jo Cobb, and you can see, I'm glad to see her back. I've met her. I spent one of the races, I believe it was in Phoenix. It was either Phoenix or Chicago back in the day when Chicago was racing. She invited me to her hauler for the day and spent some time with her, went to the driver's meeting with her and that. And so she's getting back in it, and I'm glad to see it because she went through some tough stuff there not too long ago where they said she could race and they said she couldn't race, and it was kind of a mess. So Another woman that I wanted to mention was Mercedes Lilienthal. And so Mercedes was on our podcast, and she does what they call the Rebel Rally or Rebel Rally. I'm not sure exactly but it's rally driving. And I learned so much from her. So if you go back and Google Racing Girls Rock, podcast, go back and listen to Mercedes Lilienthal. And it was really interesting about rally racing and the women and all the rules for it and everything, because it's nothing like any other kind of racing that you would know. And then Hope Capley just recently got runner up in her drag car, junior dragster. And I tried everywhere to see what track she was at, and I couldn't find it. They didn't post what track they were at, but I wanted to give Hope a shout out that she got runner up, and that's pretty good. She was competing against a lot of other junior dragsters. And then my last one is Grace Varner. And so I've been following Grace for a little while. We're going to have her on here one of these days down the road. But she is Gulfport Dragways 2022 IHRA Summit Super Series Junior Dragster Track Champion. That's a lot to say. So she's a track champion. So we're going to try to have her story in our champions issue that's going to be coming out in a couple months. And it says this year she will be blessed to not only compete at the NHRA ROC, but the IHRA World Finals. So awesome job and congratulations to her. And that was, I'm assuming, her mom, Jennifer Varner. So that's Grace Varner. So I wanted to mention her. So anything you've got there, Brett, that you want to share?
Yeah, I have one shout out this week, and it's to a rock star that we just had on our show as a special guest, Kimberly Abbott. So you just met Kimberly and found out where she was from, which is pretty local to your original hometown.
Camp Point, Illinois.
Yep. So let's pray for a little bit for Camp Point. I know they got hit with a pretty big storm, and so just pray they get their power back here soon. I think most of them do. But anyways, Kimberly had a big race past weekend, and it was $4,545 to win.
Right.
And it's 4-cylinder class on dirt. And she had to earn, like, it was at the stripe. She was 2.2 seconds in front of the leader at the stripe. And everybody in the stands were going crazy. And like, there was over 60 cars at total. They had to qualify, and she ended up winning it. And that's pretty awesome for Kimberly to come out on top the way she did at her home track.
Yeah. Adams County Raceway, or I don't know sure if it's Adams County Raceway or it's Adams County, Illinois, like Raceway or Speedway, because there's another Adams County Raceway or Speedway, whatever it is. And so, if you get on their page, they've got her picture and they told about it. And it's, isn't it funny how God puts people in our lives? So the night that she was on, our guest ended up having to work and could not join us on the show. And we didn't know it until right before the show. And you said to me, what are we going to talk about? And what did I say?
We figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We always can find something to talk about. And so that was the week of, what do they call them? Super Nationals.
Yep.
Back out in Iowa. And it just happened by accident, not accident, but it just so happened that she found us that night, found our show. And she started talking to us through the chat. And then we're like, hey, let's put you in the show. Let's have you come on live. And so it turned into an amazing show. We talked to her. I had not met her. I did not know her prior to that. And so then we kind of find out she's from Camp Point, Illinois. I was raised in Warsaw, Illinois. Our high schools used to be in the same conference and compete against each other. She races at Quincy Raceways. That's where I learned my love for racing. That's where my son, when he was little, fell in love with racing. And so now that's where she races. So there's another something that ties us together. And we had such a great conversation. And so now I follow her she was telling us about that big race and
Yep.
how four cylinders don't usually get a big race that pays $4,545. That's just not heard of.
Yeah.
And so then she ends up winning it, and like you said, 60 cars or some crazy number. And I was so excited for her. And you just think about what $4,545 will do for her race team or whatever
That's
she
a whole.
wants to
That's a
use it.
you can a 4-cylinder, a good 4-cylinder around here is $5,000 to be competitive. So,
Yeah,
she won basically enough to build a brand new car. So
right.
a huge
I don't know if she's
accomplishment.
going to want to, though, if that car's winning.
No, that it's just a huge accomplishment, and and I got goose. I wasn't there, but watching the crowd, the way they reacted, like
Hmm.
there wasn't a person sitting down
Nope.
at that final lap, and every single one of them was pulling for Kimberly to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's just so fun how those people, she fell into our lap that night.
Yep.
And then this happened, and so now, like we said to her that night, Kimberly, now you're part of our family, our Women's Motorsports Network family. And then now we follow her, and she's won that big race, and it just all comes full circle. And I tell you, I never dreamed, and I've said this probably so many times you're sick of hearing it, but I never dreamed, when I wanted to connect with other women in motorsports and I was looking for a Facebook group, I was looking for some kind of association that was already out there for women in motorsports to connect with each other. And I found Car Chicks, which my friend Jeanette runs, but it's really based on drag racing. It's not the whole encompassing motorsports. And my family encouraged me to start a Facebook page, do whatever. That started in August of 2017. The first magazine was November of 2017. Then the podcast evolved after I was a guest on another podcast, and they were basically like, Melinda, you should have your own. And then now we're doing this, and it's just, there's nothing I would rather be doing. There's nothing. I've gotten so much joy. I've met so many absolutely amazing people, including you and your family, who are truly family to me now. And I just feel so blessed to be able to do this and share stories like Tatum
Yeah.
or Briley Kilmer or Taylor Cool or a host of other women who maybe would have gotten some other, notoriety or press. And Tatum down the road might be our next NASCAR champion. You never know. But some of these women will never be promoted worldwide or nationally or whatever. And the fact that we can do that it's just so fun, and it's just a blessing. So
Yeah, 100%. It couldn't have said it any better.
yeah. So, well, speaking of guests, I'm going to tell you who our guests are going to be coming up, just so you guys can kind of follow. And so next week is Allison Marshall McKinney, and she does a lot with marketing, and she's been around motorsports a long time. She's very knowledgeable. I think you'll get a lot out of her sharing with us what she does and all the things she's learned. She's a big advocate for driver safety on at the racetracks and that. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Then this is October. Then October 5th, we're going to have Phoenix Kimball, and she's going to be on with us that night. Then on the 12th, I'm going to have Jacqueline Drake. She's going to be driving a car soon. I met her in Phoenix last year, and so she's going to be a great guest. And then on the October 19th, we have Camry Bell. And so that's as far as I've scheduled out, but I have a whole list. I keep adding to my list of we're going to have to start doing this more than once because we just can't get everybody in that we want to talk to. But yeah, so we've got some great guests coming up. If you know somebody that we should be interviewing, it's hard for us to keep track of all the girls that race. And it doesn't have to just be the United States. It can be Canada, it can be Australia, it can be over in Europe, wherever they are. We'll figure out the time and how to get them on, or we'll put them on our other podcast that we can record. So reach out and tell us, hey, you should interview so-and-so, because there's so many girls out there, Brett, that we don't even know who they are.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So awesome. Well, I don't have anything else. I'll be actually probably from my phone next Wednesday, because we'll be traveling and we probably won't be home in time for the podcast to do the laptop. But I'll be on my phone next week for the show, and we're going to have Allison on, which will be a really good show. I encourage everybody to listen. And any last words from you, Brett?
No, just I usually do recaps on the kids, my kids'
Yep.
racing. We haven't raced yet, but I'm trying to talk Adriana into racing Friday or Saturday night. We got a few races left. We're trying to sell stuff, but I'm tired of not racing. So
Yeah.
we're trying to do. I'm trying to get her talked into a couple more. She's still wanting to do her kid be a kid stuff, which I don't blame her.
Yeah.
And then just a quick shout out. Race suit time is going to be coming up to get your suits ordered. So check out Highline Racewear.
Mm-hmm.
We've had Fiona on the show.
Yeah.
Give her a shout out. She does a lot for us, for the Timmerman racing family. And she's part of our Women's Motorsport Network family too. But
Yes, she is.
there's big things for me in the works with Highline Racewear. So stay tuned. That's going to be the only clue I give. So you'll be hearing a lot of Highline Racewear from me on a lot of posts coming up real soon. So it just, she's a good to work with. She just started a web store where you can go and order your suit without having to call her. She has everything in it. It's pretty simple. So you don't have to deal with somebody. If you don't want to deal with somebody, you have somebody there if you do. So
right.
Check it. Just wanted to give her a quick shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're also partnering now with Hightail, which is the ponytail holder thing. And so I have one that's been delivered to my house because I wanted to show it. And it's a product that Taylor Cool uses and promotes. And so we're partnering now with the lady in Iowa. Oh, she just escaped my mind. I think her first name's Jamie, but oh gosh, sorry, Jamie, but I'll get that together better. But so I just ordered one so that I could show everybody what it is and how it works. So we just partnered with her, and we're always looking for marketing partners, aren't we? It costs us money to do this, and so if there's anybody out there that appreciates what we do and wants to help us keep it going, we're happy to advertise for you. We got lots of things that we can do to partner with you. So reach out to Brett or I, and we'll get you mentioned on the show. So I think that's about it for me.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up what I had too.
Okay, sounds good. Well, Brett, you have a great week. I'm going to, let's see, tonight my granddaughter is playing softball, Mason. And so it's been raining all day, but I think the sun's out. So hopefully it dries up and we can go to that. And then tomorrow I've kind of got an off day. I've got a bunch of work I need to catch up on. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to be playing Mama. And my little 2-year-old grandson, his parents are going to Vegas to the iHeartRadio something or other. And so Grandpa Mark and I are going to be babysitting. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday is going to be Mama time. And then Monday, we're going to be back on the road. So that's kind of where we're at. And we'll be watching. So tag us if you want us to follow you on Facebook. Make sure you tag us wherever we are. Hashtag Women's Motorsports Network. And we'll try to give you a shout out or whatever we need to do.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. See ya.